I want to thank all the applicants who have come this evening, and I want to welcome everyone who's also joining us via live stream. My name is Fred Baptiste. I serve as the chair of the Public Safety Committee. If I could ask if the members of the committee could also introduce themselves.
How you doing? My name is Eric Weisman. I've been living in the community for 60 years. Basically, I know the ins and outs of this community. I'm retired now, so I've taken up the protection committee and the environmental protection committee in the neighborhood. So I'm just a concerned neighborhood. A resident of the neighborhood.
I'm Marcy Maxwell. I've been in the community over 20 years, and this is my first year.
Shania Hartley, Community Board Member.
Santi Munchkin, Community Board Member, 58 years. Eric beat me. I'm only here 58 years.
And we only would have guessed 24.
I have a big birthday, so I'm not saying my number. I'm in between y'all.
Okay, so with that, we hear a quorum, so we can conduct our business for this evening. First order of business, I wanted to adjust the agenda for this evening. So we have a representative from FDNY is going to be speaking. For the liquor applications, actually we'll get to that when we get there. I guess the only change I would like to make is to add an item 8, to add a new item 7, which will just be a few minutes for us to discuss OCM and SLA workshops, and then we'll adjourn after that. Adjourn number 9. Okay? Is there any objection to those
No
changes?
objection.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, rules of order, item number 3. We're going to waive the reading of the rules of order. Only thing we ask is that we try and have an atmosphere where we can discuss civilly and respectfully. We understand that there'll be questions, and we want to make sure that we're giving, that we're respecting all viewpoints and allowing people to speak freely. And that's it. All right, so we are now going to go to our first guest. We have Ms. Sandra Sanchez, who is here with us from FDNY.
Good evening, everybody. Again, Sandra Sanchez. I'm the Director of Community Affairs for the Fire Department for New York City. And I want to just share with you some tips as we are firmly into fall. My jacket is still on. Unfortunately, the colder months coincide with higher fire incidents across the borough. This is nationally. And also fire, not only injury, but unfortunately fire fatality as well. So we are imploring everyone to just be mindful. I think in the hustle and bustle of trying to get up and go and leave the house, we often partake in some not so good practices. And we want to just encourage, particularly as the colder months are arriving, we want to stress the use of space heaters. We understand that when our homes may not be adequately heated or the space may be too large for the heat that's naturally supplying the home, but we tell everyone it's an appliance like none other. No matter what the box may say, the marketing may encourage you, any appliance is not meant to be running 24/7. And does that create a hassle or a little frustration if you leave the room to turn said space heater off? Yes. But nonetheless, when we are weighing over the inconvenience of having to wait till the room is warm once again versus the inconvenience of finding new shelter and trying to get new vital records, one of them certainly outweighs the other. So should you want more fire safety education tips, we have a host that we change them seasonally as well at www.fdnysmart.org. You click it, we have a one-pager on this information, but we certainly want to stress our cold weather safety, and that falls into heating our homes, and also with cooking. With the holidays coming up, the additional cooking that's taking place, make sure that we are practicing good cooking practices.
Could you repeat that link as well?
Sure. www.fdnysmart.org.
Thank you.
Yes. One thing that I do want to mention in my short time here, I believe last time I was here, I began to tell you that we were going to relaunch this program. Well, it's here. Get Alarmed NYC. This is the largest. We partnered with the American Red Cross to install smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in the homes of New Yorkers. So the only requirement is that you have to be a resident of New York. Like you have to live within the 5 boroughs, and something that we can certainly attain. We work with the American Red Cross with their volunteers. So you make an appointment, we will confirm said appointment with you, and we will be there on that day to install as many alarms as you may need. We know it's proven that alarms, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors are your first line of defense. Most incidents happen in the evening, so sometimes we're banking on the fact that it'll be broad daylight and we'll be able to maneuver around our homes with ease. But most often this happens while we are sleeping, and while we may be far away, the third or fourth dream as well. So we recommend that everyone has a fully functional smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector. And if you scan this QR code, it brings you right to the website. And again, it's open to all New Yorkers. So please, we truly, with all funding that we receive, we tell everyone we want, when we are doing our reporting, we want to report back and say, no, it wasn't enough. The funds that you gave us was not enough. The New Yorkers need this program. There needs to be continual funding for it. So I encourage you, take this, share this widely. There's not, again, as long as you're in New York City, there is not a place where we will not work with them to get the alarms and to get the smoke detectors and alarms that they need. But before I close, I just want to share the statistics. Go ahead. I want to share the statistics that are unique to Brooklyn Community Board 9. So we are looking at the stats for September 2025. So in September 25, structural fires, there were 33 in the confines of Brooklyn Community Board 9. Non-structural fires, 10. Medical emergencies, 365. Non-medical emergencies, 265. Bringing the grand total of incidents within the confines of Brooklyn Community Board 9 to be 673. To put that in perspective, the total for the borough of Brooklyn was 15,702 incidents. The good report here is that your structural fires, as compared to year-to-date last year, so as compared to last year, September 2024, there was a decrease of 2.9% in fires for structural fires. Thank you.
When you say medical, does that include EMS? Or
Yes, medical, yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
Not only a fire truck pulling up, it's EMS. Like you call 911 for emergency.
Yes, they say police or fire. So, and depending on the type of call, because both our fire operations and EMS can be dispatched, but fire gets there first, so they can begin the workup, and EMTs and paramedics can help them with the task.
Let's go down through the committee. Any questions this morning?
I actually do. I was wondering, does the fire department also do like a one-sheet or informative site in regards to maintaining spaces so that you can actually, in case of an emergency? I feel especially like as we get with older people where space is
Limited. Let's say
Correct.
in New York
Cluttered.
City,
Right.
space can be limited. We stress during our fire safety education presentation, one of the components that we do touch upon is planning your escape.
Yes.
So I think the bulk of what we're seeing is that you may know that there's a chair in the middle of your hallway, but first responders are not aware that you may have a chair or a chest in the middle of the hallway. And we know that the goal and the point of an emergency is for us to be able to get to you as quickly as possible, and you want us to get to you. So we truly stress making sure that all points of egress, including windows, are clear. They're not locked if need be, and if they happen to be locked, that key is that key is accessible and everyone in the house knows where these things are located. So we do stress that per se, but we do not necessarily, I would say, would do like an individual walkthrough. If we were going to go to like a condo, we wouldn't do like an individual walkthrough.
But it is on the, your media that speaks about just
Yes,
basic.
plan your escape.
Got it, okay. Thank you.
Ms. Mosher, do you have any other questions? No. I do have a couple.
Sure.
Just because I think it's always good just to know distinctly what our issues are in the district. Like, is there any particular kinds of fires that are particularly, that you see like in the district that are common? Like, is it space heaters, or is it people leave things on the oven, or what kinds of fire?
I think it's a general mix that falls within like the city's catchment area. The one thing I know, a trend that we noticed throughout the city, and I'm sure you've seen it in the news, lithium ion batteries.
Okay,
But thankfully, it has. We had a campaign that was charge safe, store safe. Forgive me. And we were able to again educate those who are using lithium, those who are more likely to use micro mobility devices, have them placed within their homes and their apartments and the like. And we saw a drastic decrease. Oftentimes, when we're trying to get the best deal, we think to ourselves, what's the difference between this battery that is, X dollars, but the on brand, the one that comes with the mobility device, is X plus $300, and that makes a difference. But what we do know is that making sure that batteries are UL rated and they're being stored properly and charged properly. So we are equipping New Yorkers who are using these devices to make sure that they're practical. If you're charging, yes, while this may be the closest outlet, this leads to your main, your number one point of egress, to make sure that they are practicing. They're using, I think, good sense to make sure that their neighbors are safe, they're safe, and property is safe as well.
So the numbers have decreased from
Yes,
last year.
overall for this, the numbers have decreased, fatalities have decreased, and we would, no number above 0 is ideal when it comes to when it comes to the loss of life, but certainly the numbers have gone down dramatically.
And wildfires have gone down, because last year it was
It's raining.
wildfire season,
Yes,
right?
it is. It is raining. Nature is on our side this year out.
We're supposed to be getting 100 inches of snow this winter.
Let's think on brighter and warmer days.
All right.
I just have one, okay.
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to know, have you, the fire department noticed an increase in fires due to illegal construction, maybe without permits? Because there's a lot of construction and stuff going on where, with electrical work and stuff like that, and creating a lot of fires, Have you maybe seen an increase in that lately?
That would have been under our structural fires, and the community board is actually lower in structural fires for this month. Let me see this for this month as compared to September 2024. What I will say is that we do rely on our neighbors to be the eyes and ears on the streets. Sometimes we all know how quickly the city moves. When people are moving too quickly, I would certainly recommend that if you feel that you're operating without a permit, to put in a 311 call, and depending on the issue, they are responsive when it comes to illegal work that is being done.
DOB.
Yeah.
Yes.
It comes out.
Last couple of questions. First one, I guess, is I know NYPD, they have CompStat and they're able to get crime data and everything like that. Does FDNY have anything similar like that? Or can we just beg you to come every month just to get the stats?
I can submit the statistics to you that you may have it for your record. If I'm not available, I must share the love with all Brooklyn community, with all Brooklyn community boards,
There you go.
and might I even say Queens boards. So I will share the stats with you.
Perfect. And I guess the last one, and that'll be my last one. I know that one of the concerns has been around safety, especially when doing changes with the streets, because our transportation committee is doing a lot of work around that. And I think if there are ever issues, if they're redoing the streets and things of that nature, does FDNY weigh in on that one, where it's like if there are certain changes, or if there are changes, do you know, how does that mechanism work? If you explain?
Yes, the Department of Transportation, our sister agency, is mandated to notify us of the street change. So long before we actually see the work being done, they need to, there's a process that by which they go through that they need to submit potential changes in the street and factor in places of, I think factor in already the built density, be it police department, be it the fire department, even like large houses of worship, and how that will affect the community and also respond. So our city planning unit, which oversees I think the changing or the new movement, I think the new plans with the department works very closely. We are let's just say we're speed dials away from one another. There are consistent meetings where we are sharing and providing feedback as well. And DOT, even after, I would say that I've seen in certain instances, even after an implementation of a new street change is done, because the truth of the matter is that DOT, rightfully so, operates, under the premise that all New York City drivers are following New York City driving code to the T.
Yeah.
You can't. But again, we work with DOT to factor in already what's there. Is there an ambulatory center that persons are being dropped off seeking medical care? Is there a school there? So I know that they are factoring what is already there, the new changes that they are implementing. So they are talking to us, and if there's any, please feel free that should there be a change that's taking place, to reach out to myself when it comes to where the fire department. We are constantly having those conversations before the work gets done, and sometimes even after the work gets done, we're just like, we believe this would work, but this is, where double parking comes to shine. So we factor that in.
All right, but otherwise, so say if there's a change proposed by DOT, what should have happened was they checked with FDNY to make sure that fire trucks can get down there,
Yeah.
there's no access, they're not narrowing the streets too much. So those safety concerns are already addressed?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any last questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Really
for
appreciate
having
your
me,
time.
and please share Get Alarmed NYC. Everyone knows someone that needs a working smoke detector and carbon monoxide alarm in their home.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay.
Oh, the White House. I went to the wrong location. I thought it was the general meeting.
Oh.
So I was sitting there, and I'm like, where is it? Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. We don't have a representative for NYPD, so we'll move that till next month's meeting. We're going to try and get somebody from NYPD to give us the prime stats. All right, so we're now going to move on to item number 6, SLA application. We have two applications, two applicants that are here with us this evening. One of the applicants has requested to be moved towards next month. I'll entertain a quick motion when we get to that. So first, do we have a representative for The Avenue with us this evening? Thank you very much. If you could please come to the front. And for the record, so this is an application for The Avenue. This is at 673 Flatbush Avenue, across streets Hawthorne and Winthrop Streets. This is for the renewal of the liquor, wine, beer, and cider license.
US Variant. Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Name is Richard Raphael. I'm US Variant. Been there about 13 years now. So this will be probably our 6th renewal. It's pretty much a neighborhood bar, called the Dive Bar, American menu. It's pretty much about it, sports and local community. That's what we entertain today. Questions?
Are there any questions from the committee? We'll go around the table. Mr. Wise, do you have any questions? Ms. Wilson?
No question.
Ms. Maxwell?
These are the hours that were, set from prior?
I just copied it over. Yeah.
Okay, and then for Sunday, is that a 1?
One, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And these have been the hours since inception?
Since inception. I mean, probably close, open a little bit earlier sometimes, summertime, the day. That's about it.
Those are all my questions.
Ms. Motion?
Said sports, you have a big TV sports or?
Probably about 8 to 10 TVs.
Oh, 8, 10
Yeah.
TVs. Okay, you have the World Series on?
If you want we play it. If you want it, we play it. Put it that way. We have
Okay,
NFL on. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty much everybody wants it.
Okay.
The package. And obviously,
You don't give me the
Knicks
Nets
supporters.
though.
Knicks supporters.
The Nets, I know.
Yeah, it's big on the Knicks.
I know.
We're hoping they run again this year.
I'm only a fan during playoffs.
People show up in the
I
playoffs.
don't even know who's part of the
Yeah.
World Series. Mariners, who cares?
You guys give me a hard time.
You know,
And that's
Most-
you know why.
most
You
New
know
Yorkers are only
why.
Knicks fans when they win.
Exactly.
As am I.
Otherwise, they don't.
And I'm okay with that.
We're hoping for a good run this year.
No doubt.
I'm a fair
Tell
weather
Paul,
fan.
all year. Went up to like, I don't know, I
Oh my
think everybody needs to be at
He likes
this
getting
question.
All-
Have the police been called, lately? Have you had any police responses to?
I mean, normally we do like the NYPD record. I think we stopped that recently. I'll be honest with you, I don't have any incidents. It's kind of neighborhoodish. I don't have any security today. People just act the way they should today. It's been a long time. We have a crowd that's been here for probably for like 10 years. Average bartender in here is probably 5 years plus.
But usually with our SLA poll and renewal, there's also a 311 link that goes along with it, right? And a police poll that usually goes along with it.
Correct. So the district office will check FDNY, they'll check,
FDNY, NYPD.
yeah,
Yeah, those are the two.
Yeah.
So you get a report from
they
them.
will check those first. So they flag for us in advance before. Okay. All right then. Okay, so. All right, listen, unless there's any other questions, are we ready for a recommendation? All right, at this time, I'll entertain a recommendation to send a letter of no objection for the renewal of this application.
Yes,
To the
sir.
full board. So move, well, actually, I can't move. So you're moving it,
I'm moving it.
okay? So it's moved by Ms. Hartley,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Horchman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. All right.
The second step before you.
All right, are there any questions, any unreadiness before we vote?
Thank you.
Nope, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, all right. Is there any objection to documents by common consent? Hearing no objection, the recommendation is approved. We're gonna go to the full board. So, just in terms of process, the full board is gonna be meeting next week.
30th.
On the 30th. So, we would ask that you come back, give a quick 2-minute, introduction of your establishment, and we vote from there at the full board. Okay?
Yep.
The district office will make sure to get home.
Thank you.
Look, I'm here, 2 cameras.
Got it. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, so going down the order. So next item B is for WHP BK LLC. The applicant is requested to come in next month because they're still doing some stuff with their representative. Is there any objection to tabling this until next month?
No objection.
Thank you very much. All right, so item B is tabled until November 2025.
Slight sidebar.
Yes.
You sent out the dates for the rest of Q4 in regards to where our meetings will be held, correct?
I believe so.
And they've moved around. So just FYI.
Yeah, and just as a quick administrative note, so because of the holidays and the observances that are coming up in November and December, all the meeting dates are gonna be varied. So just please make sure you look at the calendar. I'll speak to the district office to make sure they send out the rest of the dates. We should be more regular when we get into Q1 and Q2 of next year. Okay? All right, so now we're gonna go to item C. We have a representative for New Era Restaurant. Okay, come forward, sir. So this application is for New Era Restaurant located at 366 Utica Avenue, cross streets Crown and Carroll Streets. This is for a new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license and a temporary retail permit.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick Hagar, representative for New Era. We were here, I think, last year, before you. So it's not a new application. It's a correction to the original 30-day notice that we sent to the board. The SLA brought it to our attention that we had put beer, wine, and cider. And it should have been liquor, beer, wine, and cider. All the information we had submitted to the board, you know, the pictures, everything else indicated liquor, beer, wine, and cider.
Okay.
But that one mistake on the application, the SLA didn't realize that, you know, we tried to tell them that you guys didn't object to it when we were here back in, I think, September of last year.
Okay.
And but they insisted that we come back and correct it with the board. So that's why we're here.
Okay.
And they've been operating with a temporary since,
Oh, so it's
yeah, as well.
all right then. Okay, all right, so,
And when he, as a matter of fact, the owner had came, or the owner's son had came to the original meeting and didn't bring it to the attention that that was the mistake. So you had met him before.
okay. All right, so are there any questions from the committee?
No questions.
Okay.
And I think they had a good record, no 3-1-1s or anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I think the office has already done that. So again, for the record, so the district office has not come up with any adverse information with regards to the applicant in terms of NYPD, NYPD enforcement plates or hazards.
So this is just an update on the clerical error.
Yeah. It's,
All right, so with that being said, do I hear a recommendation to send a letter of no objection for the correction to the license? This applicant?
I do.
Okay, I have it by Ms. Maxwell, moved by Ms. Maxwell. Is there a
I
second?
second.
Seconded by Ms. Harder. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions on readiness?
No.
All right, hearing none. Any objection to adopting this by common consent?
No objection.
Hearing no objection, this recommendation is going to go forward to the full board.
very good.
So the meeting is going to be next week on October 30th. The district office will give you all the information.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
How long is the temporary license for?
When we first started, it used to be 3 months. They've since extended it to 6 months, and then after that, you can apply for 3 at a time, so you can get 3 months additional. So he's applied for quite a few in that time.
Okay. All right then. Okay, that completes item 6. We're now going to go to item 7, New York State Office of Cannabis Management application. Do we have a representative from Rise Garden Convenience? Okay, if you could please come forward. Okay, so again, this application is for Rise Garden Convenience LLC. Location is 1211 Nostrand Avenue, cross streets Hawthorne and Winthrop Streets, correct? Okay. All right, could you please tell us about your establishment?
My name is Connie Horner and I'm a representative for Rice Garden. We opened this small shop about 2 years ago when we applied to OCM for the license, and since then it's kind of been like an on and off business, mainly because of the sheriffs and stuff, so we were trying to avoid a lot of trouble, but I did just hear back from OCM and they did approve me provisionally, so I am in the market now to look for a new retail spot that's in the proximities of the requirements. So right now I think I'm very close to a daycare, which kind of outed me for that location, so now I'm in the process of looking for a new location that meets their requirements.
So you're you're not going to be at 1211 Nostrand?
No.
Okay.
As of when?
I'm not sure yet. I'm waiting for the lady that I do speak to at OCM to get back to me. She said maybe tomorrow or Monday. But the storage is still there. I do have my cannabinoid hemp license, so we have a variety of CBD products that we do have in the store. Prior to that, we had like a lot of hookah accessories, just general stuff.
So you are operational right now?
Yes, for cannabinoid hemp.
So run me down, I'm interrupting you because you're about to say questions, right?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Run me down, first in regards to your, right now you are operational for the aspect of having anything that's cannabinoid oil.
Yes.
What you are asking for is the approval right now here in 9 for just that specifically? Because if you're looking for another space, will that still be in CB9? Because if it's not CB9,
Specifically, I am asking permission to be there for the cannabinoid hemp, and for the other space, I'm not sure where that would be, but I'm trying to find a location in this area.
okay. So Fred, walk me through this a little bit more, hopefully, in that it's a renewal for where she's operating now, only specific to what she just said that's on her, let's call it menu, right?
Yeah.
Let's say menu, or, products that you provide. And so that's just what we're looking for approval on. Correct? Because I'm looking at cannabis. Maybe I'm just old and I just think everything's.
And can I just add on top of that, because you said you got a provisional license.
Approval, yeah.
Right, so do you have it, you have that in hand? Or you
I
don't?
have the
No,
email.
but, so it's confirmed.
Yeah.
So you're not before us on that, correct? Because if you're operational now and you're saying that you have to move, that provisional license is kind of, I don't, you're not
I'm
here
a
to
bit
present that.
confused about that as well.
Okay.
The representative that I did speak to with OCM, my application was in. This was the only part that I was missing, was sending a notice to the community board.
Mm-hmm.
After I did send that in and I called here, someone stamped it for me. A week later, I was approved.
Right.
Um,
Because your provisional license
yeah.
is what you use to get
To-
location,
yes,
right?
yes,
So,
that's
so you
correct.
get your provisional license and say there's a store next door that you're interested in,
Yeah,
right? That's what you use that for. So you're
Yes.
not before us for something in CB9 right now, correct?
no,
So you're just here to piggyback what you said,
Yeah.
just what's on the menu.
Well, okay, so then I have a question if I can jump in. So you have a provisional license in the location, for the location at 1211 right now?
yeah.
No,
The provisional license is approved for 1211, but,
because of her
the
proximity to
the
school
daycare, yes.
and daycare, she's not able to do that, because remember we were talking before, she came
Right.
she
You
came
have the
after,
expansion of
Right.
additional products.
right?
So the oil-based products as allotted as of right now, the expansion would then put her in conflict,
With the scope of the daycare,
like, with
Okay.
proximity issues.
it sounds.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. So the ask of the board is to approve,
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
yeah, so is to approve for, what is it you're asking us to approve?
For the cannabinoid hemp. That is what I was told to.
Okay, now, that's the question I have, only in the sense, and please, if anybody
Because this
knows
is a
better.
renewal.
If the cannabinoid hemp, I don't believe is done through OCM. I thought that was done through Office,
Agriculture.
Consumer, right? Is it?
Yes.
Consumer Protection?
Agriculture, but,
She's
yeah, agriculture.
Done through whom?
Agriculture.
Does that require a vote from us?
Not, but see, the thing is, when she got her license under the auspices of her operating a dispensary, right? Your renewal is every 2 years. So
Right.
she's up for her, she can't renew this one because of the proximity of the daycare center, right? So she can't renew this one, like, because she's not allowed to be there to sell, right? Cannabis. So that's why she's saying the provisional license that she received, that's what she has to use with landlords, right? That's what she's gonna use to say, hey, I'm provisionally approved and this is what I want to sell. But she has to be within the parameters of House of Worship and the school.
And in CB9.
And
Well,
other
hold on.
dispensary
Well,
as
correct. Okay, so maybe I'm mishearing, or maybe I really told you. My understanding is there's CBD places there. That is licensed not by OCM, is that correct? CBD?
Her current location?
Yes. The CBD.
No,
network.
it is not licensed by OCM. I've had that
Okay.
license before OCM
Okay.
came into operation.
Okay, so now the request for an OCM license would mean that, okay. and I
She was
guess-
illegally operating, not like illegally operating, but her license from OCM was for cannabis, right? And because of the proximity to the daycare, that is why she was.
And that's why I'm wondering
And that's
why,
what
how did you get?
we started modifying,
Well,
so a number of the OCM laws and rules started to change within the past 18 months that you know that we are aware of, and there have been modifications of it. Some of it aligning and similar to SLA aspects, which is the proximity
Right.
component, right, yes. And so there had been there's been modifications within it. And that's where I think we've come in regards to the proximity aspect, and then also products and what is deemed and what isn't deemed cannabis, which is where you saw a lot of the search and seizures that came from sheriffs. So I think that is really what aligned with. So I think pretty much what I'm trying to understand is you're asking us for a renewal on your license specific to the cannabis aspect. However, this is where it's tricky. You see, for example, you see how they've come for the SLA. There's an actual location. The location is in CB9. And we're trying to decipher or understand, because it also, OCM is relatively very new and has a lot of fluidity and adjustments. You're asking us for approval, but we don't know where your next space will be. And that's where the conundrum
Yeah,
between,
that's the tricky part.
that's the
actually,
tricky part,
and
right?
a bit
And I
confusing
think
as well.
that's where we may need to do further research and table this.
Yes, I was just gonna ask, are
Right.
we able to table this until
We
I do,
can, yeah.
I will speak to the representative of OCM some more and ask her a little,
And I think
more
we also
in-depth
need to put that on the plate, yeah.
All right, so here's what we'll do. If there's no objection, we'll table this matter until next month. So if you can check with OCM, and I'll talk with the district staff as well, and we'll have that conversation as well. And just so we can coordinate this, I want to make sure that, we're giving you what you need, and that.
yes, came in here a bit confused actually,
If you look on my face is where we have it.
okay, Chris.
Do you think you'll have the location by next month?
I am hoping to. I am in contact with a realtor, so we have been looking for locations, but it has been hard. There's a lot of dispensaries that is open right now, and I can't be anywhere near them, or schools, or house of worship. So it's a bit tricky right now.
Your space is beautiful.
My one call out
There
is
last
that if
night.
you are looking for spaces and you come back here with your real estate, with your commercial agent, you should make sure that they're aligned with CB9
Yeah.
and within CB9. So, because then you'd have to present it to whatever other community board you're in within that. So just, make sure you have what our parameters are. And then, upon your search.
But definitely, so you talk to, let's talk offline, so we'll coordinate with the district office, and we'll see what we need to do, and we'll bring it back
Okay,
next month.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so. Oh. Sure, no, absolutely. Just make this one note before I forget this. All right, okay, so we've done the cannabis and the OCM, same thing, OCM and SLA applications. So we've already approved, the SLA applications, and we're gonna table yours. So we have done with that business portion of
This
it.
one is tabled, it's on
Where's Don?
That's tabled until
They're
next
not here.
also?
Yes, that, they requested to be tabled until next month.
Oh, and the whip.
Correct. Okay.
16.
All right then. So with that being said, you're more than welcome to hang out. But otherwise, we will see you next week. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
All right then.
Have a
So
good night, everyone.
Take
All right,
care.
so,
Good night, good night, thank you.
I'll be by to see you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
Sorry for the
Nice.
confusion.
I'll
no,
try.
no worries, no worries. All right, so we'll talk offline. We'll talk offline and we'll check.
Yes, I will definitely, as soon as I can
It's
speak
not-
to.
ATV,
It's not
sounds good to
OCM.
me.
Okay. All right.
Speaking to me? Oh. For the CBD.
You have partners, correct?
It's just me.
Oh, okay, because I saw additional names on the lease.
On the lease, yeah, my husband did sign it and my mother-in-law as well. But
Okay.
on the business itself, it's just me.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, I just wanted to take an opportunity, because Borough Hall had scheduled two workshops. So a little late last month, they had scheduled a workshop for SLA applications. And just this
September
evening.
30th.
September 30th, yes. Thank you for that, for the record. So September 30th, they had scheduled the SLA applications. I want to thank for all the members. I did hear several people from the
You
committee
were
who were
on.
there.
And you were on.
You asked a lot of questions.
In one,
You-
one
that's
go.
good.
I got a committee.
Two questions, then it kept going. I was like,
I got a committee to report, so I gotta ask questions. And this evening, they did have an OCM app, workshop as well.
Which I told
don't know.
Carol was conflicting with our SLA.
Right.
So I did let her know that twice, even though she sent me an additional email about her, be
Yeah.
there.
So the good news is, for those who weren't able to make the SLA one, I believe there are videos. It was recorded, so we can make sure we make that available. I'll check with Borough Hall to see if the OCM.
That one was recorded.
And it was recorded as well?
That's
Yeah, it was recorded, they're gonna send
the
me
liquor
presentations and everything.
authority, right? I had problems from signing in. I couldn't get in.
What was the tool they used, WebEx?
WebEx. I couldn't get
But then there
into,
was also, wasn't there a call-in also?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't, it kept going to like a fax machine or something.
There were some tech issues in the beginning, a combination of both
Tonight's-
posts as well as
tonight's one, I
the
got
but
it
the OCM, I think, was being run on Teams.
Okay,
No,
so-
no, no,
it's
it was WebEx.
I don't have WebEx.
and I actually had technical difficulties. I wasn't able to get on either.
See?
So, but that'll be something that we'll address with Borough Hall. But I did want to take just a few minutes just to kind of get a little bit of feedback in terms of what we heard. So there were a few items in terms of, I was glad they clarified between the 200 and 500 foot rule. I think that was very important for us to, to make sure that there's clarity around that. I was interested in the fact, what the commentary was with respect to renewals, where they are more or less automatic. And I will say this, I do have some questions about that, because I think it's important that there is feedback, because things change. Whereas, okay, if somebody starts, they got the license the first time, great. If something goes wrong in the process or something happens, we should have that opportunity to waive this. But this goes back to some of the conversations we've had, in terms of making sure that there is feedback that comes to the board. SLA was saying that they need that feedback to go directly to their portal, because they have a specific email that it goes. So as we're refining, as we're creating this template, that we're still working on that. Just, I'm working on it. I wanted to try and get something, but I wanted to get feedback before I actually put it to paper, before we started ripping it up without getting some more feedback. But I think it's important that that piece is something we make very public. If there are issues in terms of how do you report it, because again, it's important that we're able to get it, understand what it is, and make sure it gets to SLA in a fashion that they need to. Was there any other feedback, anything anybody heard that we think we need to incorporate?
What was also good to know was that what trumps what in regards to places of worship. So if a establishment is there already, there can't be a conflict if then a place of worship comes secondary. So there's been times where places of worship will conflict and state that there shouldn't be a place that has a liquor license. But if such location, the establishment was there prior to the house of worship, it trumps it. And so, but that's knowledge now that everyone should know, because there are times where places of worship have will conflict and or complain about that, but it is, I guess, location seniority. That was what was called out.
And dispensary is the same thing that you just said, right? So the
Yes.
dispensary is there first, and then house of worship, or school comes after, like they were there.
The good news is that with OCM, they tried to model a lot of that on the same platform as SLA. So we don't have to necessarily learn a whole new set of rules. Maybe some slight differences, variations, but the two policies will mirror. I did actually go to another OCM workshop that was done by I think Chamber of Commerce.
That was
So,
early, that was like
that was
early
earlier as
September,
well.
right?
But that was a good news. That's what I got from there. So I think that as far as that piece goes, we had worked on a platform for that a while ago. That one's in place, so we can probably really just kind of tailor that and make it similar. we're gonna incorporate some of the other stuff we talk about, like for example, the things that we wanna make sure are incorporated, soundproofing, standardization around hours. So we'll have that conversation in terms of what is reasonable for the district. You know, it's not gonna be 4 AM as, you know, to the full extent of the license, but we wanna make sure that there's something reasonable. And that, you know, that's, you know, that addresses the community concerns as well. I think those were most of them, but again, I think just it sticks to my craw that, the position of SLA was that these renewals are almost automatic. So after we do our work, I think that's a little bit more of a conversation. I think that there should be more feedback, or SLA should be more responsive to the renewals. We should have more feedback on this.
I think that, one, they were heavily repeating, that they had less staff, and they did repeat over and over again, COVID, which is 5.5 years ago.
Right.
Now, and so that was two things. One thing I'll call out that I think would have been good to know is that from our last general meeting, we had a lot of questions about specifically the Chipotle and how alcohol is served. And there were many questions that were rather alarming that came from some of our board members, because they don't know how alcohol is sold or served in general. And so, and they also don't know things like a toddler's not gonna go into Chipotle and order a drink. I don't know, you know. But there was those conflicts, and I think that I heavily stated to please attend the training because of those types of questions. But I think that the training, I think those questions that were asked were, I don't want to say common sense, but if we know how alcohol is purchased, sold, or served, that's not what SLA does. SLA makes sure that we understand quality of life component, real estate, and proximity aspects. But it would be, in some point, that I think that we have 50 individuals who vote in regards to small businesses and can impact small businesses or large businesses, right? Chipotle is $1 billion publicly traded company, but to not know the BAU, basic semantics of how alcohol is sold and purchased, I think that at minimum, that should also be included in our wireframe, so that our overall board members know that. You don't have to partake in the things, but if you are on the board, there should be a light touch or light level of just understanding many of the things that we vote on, and that should be one of them.
You know, just to touch on that very quickly, I think it was important, one of the first things that started off was what the purpose of the SLA is. So part of it was for that public safety part. Part of it is, no, they encourage business. There's an economic driver to this.
That was heavy, I felt like.
So
that was the call.
I think it's important that we understand that the state has an economic interest in there,
Huge.
and the district has an economic interest in
Huge.
there. So our role here as a board is to make sure that's balanced. So it's like, no, they're businesses and people should be able to make money, and people should be able to, earn an honest dollar, and, there should be benefits and everything like that, but there's also a responsibility that has to happen with that as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that has to be clear to the board. I can't just vote no because I hate alcohol. I don't drink, so nobody else should drink in the district. That's not quite how it works.
I don't like brown liquor, which has come up in these meetings.
And it happens. So those are the conversations we have to have in the district, where it's like, this is gonna be a balancing act. Where, no, we're not the boo spot in Brooklyn, but at the same time,
This is not prohibition.
yeah, this is not prohibition, where it's like people.
And we already, New York is still a blue law state. It's not as heavily blue law as, say, Alabama, where or part of northern Jersey, right, where you're not even open on Sundays. But I think that that would be good to implement some aspects of just light level, just understanding and knowledge of it.
And that's gonna be the key. I think once we have that knowledge and establish that baseline, hopefully it streamlines these conversations, so people aren't just coming out of the reflex where it's like, oh, I hate this. No, that's not what it is. This is the purpose of what SLA does. This is what we're doing at this level. And these are the things that we ask for as a community in terms of being responsible. So whatever our response.
What was not clear to me was the temporary license that the SLA gives out. Is that clarified at all?
Yeah, they give out the temporary licenses because it takes so long for them to do licenses.
Right, and they'll blame it on short staff, they blame it on where they're located, right, so, and where they have staff, so here Southern District has more patrons and or workers in comparison to say West New York, but all of it ends up going to Albany.
So is this like, sort of like a trick that like people who are applying, they know that if they apply for a temporary license, at least they could get it moving, but not everybody knows that?
Well, I mean,
Like, is it automatic that you get, you know,
Even
they
with the
get the
temporary,
application and they automatically give you a temporary license, you get that in a week?
But even with the temporary, you still have to go with basic SLA proximity,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
all
yeah,
those
yeah.
basic.
yeah, I mean, it's just to not, I guess
To
that,
not stall the business from not opening.
Right,
So I
right.
think two things stall a lot of establishments like that. DOB approval on gas and liquor license. That's usually what halts a lot of spaces from opening. They have to get the sign off on the
Right.
gas line and then the sign off from SLA. And I think, like they said, the commercial aspect is what keeps, it's why now they say, you know what, we have been holding up establishments, waiting for them to open. Let us at least expedite it in this way. I think also the temporary one, where you think it's a workaround, I think it's a good way to measure how the business does, and are they staying within the, you know, the legalities that they're supposed to stay in. To me, it kind of comes across as a,
Probation.
exactly.
so there are definitely some opportunities. There's definitely some opportunities. Okay, all right, so I just want to thank you so very much for that feedback. So again, we're working on finishing up that wireframe so we can get this conversation moving. So that way we can have this streamlined. And again, I think part of it is we're gonna look to the SLA model that we've already developed. Those two will probably kind of run very, very closely, so that way we're working on the same principles for both. Okay, that is all I had. Are there, well, yeah, that completes the agenda. Are there any items that we need to address before we adjourn?
Did the OCM say anything about if there's a limit of applications, a limit of amount of licenses they're gonna give? In any district, there's no limit. I thought originally when they opened up 3 years ago, they
They
said there was
did,
gonna be a
but
limit.
They
Right.
did have limits. What they were doing was, it was conditional authorizations. Yeah, there was something where it was conditional. First wave was, okay, there were people who were justice involved, like if you had marijuana convictions or something like that, they gave them an opportunity to get in first. But it's open now. So now it's open, and I think the only thing that's bounding that is, well, first of all, they can even process these applications, and of course, you know, whatever limits in terms of filing.
But they're giving them also temporary licenses.
They are, but it's similar to the SLA. So
Yeah.
remember, it's like there's only certain places they can be in certain hours of
Right,
use.
right.
You have an idea how much the licenses are
That's a
for
good question.
I
the
can tell you.
CD thing?
I'm sure it's
It varies.
online.
It varies.
Yeah.
I
At
can tell
least
you,
what?
New York is one of the more expensive states in comparison to other states.
Oh, for CBD?
That's everything, that's.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, for
because-
medical operators,
Right.
20 million to get into the industry.
How much?
If you're a medical operator, you have to pay $20 million to get into the industry.
Sorry.
Oh, cannabis.
For a license?
You have
In
to
New
pay-
York?
Yeah, you have to pay 20 million in order to get into. No, that's medicinal, right? So medicinal, and they're converting over to recreational. But
She
for
had this
theirs,
beautiful
I
little
I
tiny
don't
store,
know.
we went to visit
Yeah.
this woman, beautiful little tiny store. She only had about 100 products in the store. Maybe not even, so I don't know where she's making the rent.
Well, and that's the issue,
And the
and
rent
Ms.
is-
Maxwell, we were talking about
The
that.
rent is $4,100 a month.
That's like
And Ms.
a
Maxwell,
lot of
perhaps, you know,
money.
you could lean on your expertise at some point where it's like if you'd be willing to present, to talk about some of those. I think it's helpful for the board to understand
Yeah.
what happens with this as well. Because on the one hand, again, going back to people would just say, no, 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 no.
It's refund,
Yeah.
so.
But I mean, there are purposes for it, and we also have to be understanding to the businesses. It's like, even if they get the licenses, it's hard. It is hard to even get open, it's hard to stay open. So we'll get that information in terms about the pricing for the licenses. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's easy to look
Yeah.
up.
I don't remember. Well, on the
But-
medical
Do you have
side.
to have insurance for 20 million, or it's 20 million for the license?
So you have to pay 20 million, right, because you're expanding your footprint, right? You have your 4 medicinal stores, and now you're
So that's
expanding.
conversion from,
So we're going
Oh,
from.
that's
so
conversion
it's
Okay.
from
20
Because I'm
medicinal to
like-
commercial.
Right.
Okay.
And the ones ones that are, and the ones that are
Or
open.
medicinal to recreation.
And the ones that are open, that were able to pay the 20 million, they were pot ready, that's what we call it in the industry, that you're pot ready because you're ready for growing, because, you know, those are the ones who were able to enter into the industry on the recreational side. So you have a lot of medical operators that are not on the recreational side because they couldn't afford to enter. And then you gotta remember that this is a cash-based business,
I
right?
understand,
And so it's very difficult for people to get into the industry.
All right then.
And my
Okay,
only
well,
question-
listen, actually, so let's do this. So unless there's any business items or agenda items, we're going to, any last call?
Last call.
All right, so with that being said, we are adjourned. Time is now 8:03 PM. Thank you very much, everyone, for that.
Can I just also ask you before you leave to manifest as quickly as this one went for next Thursday? Thank you.
Who's playing on
An hour?
Thursday night
Yeah.
football?
So this was, this they